Hello viewers, today we will discuss energy conservation of particle. To understand this, let's consider the work done by external force, let's say F, which is acting upon a particle, F external force upon the uh, particle in going from point 1 to 2. Say that this is that point 1 and it is moving to the point 2 through this path. So by the definition of work from 1 to 2 is given as 1 to 2 F dot ds, where ds is infinitesimal distance. Let's say for constant mass F dot ds can be reduced to F dot ds m dv by dt, and ds is the distance which can be written as v dt if particle is moving with the velocity v from 1 to 2. Then on some manipulation this can also be written as m by 2 d by dt v square dt. So work done from 1 to 2 is on integrating this from 1 to 2 is nothing but mv square by 2 for limits 1 and 2. So m by 2 v2 square minus v1 square. The scalar quantity mv square by 2 is kinetic energy of particle and it is denoted by T. Let's say T2 minus T1, so that the work done is equals to the change in kinetic energy from 1 to 2. So the work done is depend on kinetic energy at point 1 and kinetic energy at 2, and is a difference between the kinetic energy T2 minus T1. Okay. Now these forces, which are external forces which are acted on a particle, can be conservative or non-conservative forces. Let's first discuss these conservative forces and non-conservative forces. Conservative forces are forces in which no mechanical energy destroyed or dissipated. No mechanical energy destroyed or dissipated. Means to say work done is independent of a path. Work done is independent of path. And some of the examples of this conservative force is gravitational force, electrostatic force, example, and much more. Gravitation force, electrostatic force. Now let's move on to the non-conservative forces. Non-conservative forces. These are the forces in which mechanical energy is destroyed and dissipated. Mechanical energy is dissipated, or you say destroyed. So work done doesn't depend upon, work done will depend upon path, and it will not be independent of that path. Work done does depend on path taken by that particle from 1 to 2, say path taken by particle. And the very example for the same is example friction and magnetostatic forces, magnetism. Okay, we will confine ourselves to the conservative forces, and meanwhile these all fundamental forces are conservative. All fundamental forces are conservative. Okay, now as if we are considering only the conservative forces, so work done from 1 to 2, which is F dot ds for a path, and for the closed loop, say from 1 to 2 and then again to from 2 to 1, and this closes a area A, closed loop F dot ds is infinitesimal distance. Okay, and this will be equals to 0, because as we know that work done is equals to T2 minus T1, as we are considering here force which is conservative forces, and work done which depends on the initial kinetic energy and final kinetic energy, and if the no energy is dissipated here, so the kinetic energy at the initial and final point will be the same, and the work done from for the closed loop is equals to 0. Okay, so now we can use by the Stokes law. By the Stokes law, we can write it as del cross F dA, where dA is the area covered in the closed loop, is equals to 0, which implies that del cross F is equals to 0. Now we are in the good position to define one more quantity, which is a scalar potential. When the path is independent of work done by conservative force, this implies the existence of scalar potential. Scalar potential, which basically said that path independent of work done by a conservative field implies existence of a scalar potential. Okay, so to define the scalar potential, say force F is equals to minus del V by the definition of potential. F is equals to minus del V, and meanwhile when you substitute this in del cross F, del minus del V is equals to 0, and we know that with the magic of mathematics that curl of gradient is also 0, and the well-known example you can also conclude from this formula that we know that gravitation force which is equals to G m1 m2 over r square, and for this gravitation potential can be determined from this formula, which is equals to G m1 m2 over r. Okay, and same you can done for the electrostatic forces, which is equals to k q1 q2 over r square, and the potential for that is minus k q1 q2 over r. Electrostatic force k q1 q2 over r square, and potential electrostatic force is equals to minus k q1 q2 over r. Now if we also talk about the non-conservative forces, which are the velocity dependence, non-conservative forces which are velocity dependent, let's say for the friction which is equals to minus k v square, and the magnetic force which is equals to minus q v cross b, as they depend upon the velocity, so no scalar potential energy for these type of forces, as they depend on potential, so no scalar potential for these type of forces. Okay, now to note one thing here, that scalar potential we are only defined to a constant. Now here interesting thing to note here is that as we know that F is equals to minus del V, and this V can be any quantity with the addition of any constant. Let's say VR is equals to V plus V naught, where V naught is the constant, as for any V naught this quantity gives the same result. So different potential related to same forces. So different potential related to same potential, and this is nothing but a gauge symmetry. Gauge symmetry. Okay, now we are in good position to proceed our energy conservation. So work done which was from 1 to 2 is equals to F dot dx now can be substituted with the help of our new definition of potential, scalar potential. F is equals to minus del V from 1 to 2 ds, and on integrating this we can easily find out V1 minus V2. Now to equating both the work done from 1 to 2, we have T1 minus T2, sorry, T2 minus T1 is equals to V1 minus V2, which on some manipulation gives us T1 plus V1 is equals to V2 plus T2, which implies if the forces acting on a particle are conservative, then total energy of the particle, which is sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy, remain constant. T plus V remain conserved, and this is the energy conservation theorem for a particle. Okay, thank you.